Hello, folks. Hello. The story, the more it goes on, feels more like it's gonna be some kind of apocalyptic ending to it. Like, I don't know, like one of those nothing matters in the end, we're all gonna die kind of endings, I guess. No, I'd like to end on a more hopeful note. Since the fireball didn't not like a tank shell. It didn't tear through the whole body of the armored vehicle. It killed the occupants. The doors to it on the side opened up, and 4 men came running out in the open. They came under heavy fire and hit the deck. One of them looking like he broke his nose after it hit the concrete. Are we gonna have a nuclear war in our lifetime? I don't know. Anyone who's like past 60 right now? Probably not. But, there will be more nuclear disasters, at least, I'm sure. As long as there are nuclear power plants on the planet. I don't think any new ones have been built lately, though. Thankfully. Yep. Let's see. It's a little early for me to be rambling on other things. Let's see. What is that? Broke his nose. It's concrete. They put their hands up and had no interest continuing the fight. Those men are prisoners. Those men are our prisoners. A J. Loot yelled. No one gunned him down. And no one did. These men were definitely... Ashmaster thought... These men were definitely... Jade soldiers in spirit and training. To the Jade, the word of an officer was absolute. There was no more so than in most armies. More so than in most armies. It was supposed to be like that in all armies. But in the Jade Army, it was more like that. An officer might as well have been God giving orders. Jubilee. Orders from up heaven. Ashmaker, served under. It served under plenty of bad officers in the World Wars. And if he had followed their words like God, he would have been up in heaven himself a while ago. Yeah, let's see. Nice change of pace. There's an action scene, and in the other book I'm working on, simultaneously, it's a mobster meeting scene. Mobster meetings are pretty interesting too, I guess, Let's see, right there, God. 4 came out of vehicle. Ashmaker yelled. That's the whole crew. I'm gonna take out the vehicle. Go ahead. You wrecked it anyway. J. Loot replied, giving his blessing. Ashmaker. Did I call him Mike by accident? Mike is... elsewhere. Ashmaker flung 2 more energy balls Both the regular kind. Can you only produce one ball at a time? Both regular kind. Yeah. Both the regular kind that smashed into the vehicle. Smashed against the dead vehicle and completed its destruction. It went up in flames. Exploded outward, knocking, coating nearby corpses in fresh fire. Anchormaker attacked the other armored car next, lobbing a grenade-type fireball at it. Edgemaker's grenades, fireballs exploded on contact. They didn't just get stuck and then explode, like those sticky bombs Edgemaker saw used in abundance back in the last war. Useful for taking out the occasional tank that somehow got past all the jungle terrain. Yeah, tanks and jungles don't mix. Tanks and mountains neither. It's annoying. I play that Hearts of Iron game, and I finally get a big tank army like I want. I find I have to use them to fight in mountainous, poor terrain countries, you know, like India and China and maybe even Tibet. I'd rather not go to war with Tibet. I like Tibet too much to go to war with them, even when I'm playing bad people, like Germany, World War II. Yeah. Let's see. I'd like to do some more stories involving Tibet. I got a section in the other book later in Tibet. Of course, it's not called Tibet because it's a fictional world, so you know, it's a stand-in for Tibet. The second armored car went up in flames like the first. The second armored car exploded outward like it got hit by rocket launcher. Only one crewman managed to get out, but he was coated in fire and soon to be dead. He let out several screams, 2 long, agonized screams before collapsing dead. Edgemaker wished he had put the guy out of his misery. One quick fireball would have reduced him to ashes. Ashmaker's fire usually killed a lot quicker than the natural fire that most people were. And the natural fire. Edgemaker took out a few running armored suits with a few more fireballs. And they crumpled ashes. They turned to ashes instantly, with just a few molten bits of their armor surviving. And they've been they've been hit by a jet of flame, a jet of fire from a flamethrower. They would have died a lot slower, getting cooked alive. Those suits, especially. This was especially the case with the tougher tank man suits. Another few armored cars rolled up, blazing, popping men men down the line from Ashmaster. RPG rockets took out one of them, and Ashmaster got the other with 2 grenade-type fireballs. On impact, grenade fireball. Fire grenade. Hit it. Second armored car. It exploded outward. Goodness. More dead men tumbled out of the rooms of both vehicles. Edgemaker killed another few. Running troops with fireballs. Then some rounds grazed him about the right arm. So he dove down into prone. He flung more fireballs. Took out another few men, then felt like he had to recharge for a spell. He took up his AK and put that to use, firing off a few short bursts here and there at the distant running enemy. Ashmaker is fond of the AK. It didn't let him down in the jungle, like a lot of allied weapons did. The Vulgans had made quite a gun. It wasn't pretty or elegant, but it worked. It just worked. Plenty of fortunate Jade found that out in their Pacific campaign. Oh, someone called me. Just back a second. No, nobody told me. Although I think all the people I care about online are online at the moment. The Pacific campaign. They probably faced off. Probably seemed like there were more AKs in the Pacific than on the Vulcan front. Edgemaker saw some big APC M115 pull up among the wrecked vehicles. It dropped off a dozen infantry, many of them wearing heavy body armor. Ashmaker charged up 2 fireballs and flung them at the vehicle, killing it before it could escape. He got the crewmen, while his Jade comrades nailed the infantry who piled out. Most of them died where they could throw themselves in prone. A few got to the cover of wrecked vehicles, firing out from there. Ashmaker took careful aim with his AK and got one of the riflemen right in the face. He flew back and died in the open. Ashmaker didn't get the last survivor, who exchanged shots with Jade troops for about get to the entrance. Did Jade know that Arlen is here? They kidnapped him, they could get his wife to do their bidding. You know, having a god to serve your interests does have some value. You know, that's what Jade Truths were about. Another minute before he was caught and sent falling into the open. He was in a sitting position, looking dazed. For another minute or so, and some rifle fire caught him about the chest, and he slumped backwards. I see you were money well spent, someone said to Ashmaker. Ashmaker looked over to see the loot, Jade loot from earlier. It was a pretty fearsome looking guy, up close, with big scars on his face, and yeah, eyes and irises, a shade of yellow that seemed to glow. Ashmaker wished he had eyes like that, but his eyes were a totally normal shade of blue. Nothing otherworldly, like you'd expect of someone with his ability. He can only shoot fireballs. He can't teleport or do other cool things. I should make sure his eyes are blue. Knowing me, I probably said he had brown eyes. You assume I'm a mercenary? Ashmaker asked back instantly, trying to sound a little... With that, the area from that dead man to the nearest wall, 15 meters away, seemed totally clear. You have some of those little walker things like they had in that last Metal Gear game. That technology is a bit too advanced even for this alternate 1950s, so yeah, I'll probably have them show up in the 60s. In the other world, I had them show... In another continuity, I had them show up in 1980s. Which is... yeah. It's more alt history right there. Definitely. Technology that advanced in 1950. Walking tanks. What can you do? I can imagine how peeved the Soviets would be that they were losing the arms race that bad. But that might have been Soviet tech in that story. I forget because we found them on the Russian base. So yeah, they were definitely Soviet tech. And I assume that if they had that, then the Americans in the West would have them too. And flying gun platforms, they had those too. Yeah, they had those 20 years earlier in the 1960s storyline. So yeah. Yeah, technology seemed to advance much quicker in that world. Maybe World War II it was a bit different technologically too, but they didn't have any stories set in that time, so we don't know. We can only use our imaginations, folks. And that's imagination, yeah, that's a powerful drug. Perhaps I also dream of the restoration of the Jade Empire and the downfall of the West. You're a mercenary, an outsider, the Jade Loot continued. But that's okay. It's okay? Really? But that's okay. We need men like you. Like you. And you'll just discard me. Discard me. When I'm no longer needed. Ashmaker replied. I understand, though. I understand. I wish I knew why people hold us mercs in such contempt. Is it because we serve our own? It might be because you serve your own interests instead of a flag. Little J. Luke noted. And wow, we all serve our own interests in the end. Ashmaker noted. Someday, the word mercenary you mercs had many names in history. Jade Loot noted. Chained dogs, dogs of war, free long cuts, free swords, cuts back before there was such a thing as a rifle, as a gun. Back before there was such a thing. You fellows, you were also once called murky men because of your murky motives. That's true, Ashmaker replied. He actually didn't know if it was or not, for he had it wasn't like he knew the whole history of the concept of the mercenary. If you were a doctor, or were you required to know the whole history of medicine, doctoring, and your field? No. Let's move up to the wall, Ashmaker suggested. The men pushed up to the wall in the distance, confirming that they had fought all the way through from the center of the base to one side of it. Other groups of Jade troops had similar luck and had secured large amounts of the yard. The yard was mostly littered with the dead now. With dead Zedans now. But many troops were still occupying buildings. It didn't look like they were falling back into the hangars. Reinforcements were coming to the yard from the hangars. Cocky bastards. Front yard. From the hangar to the hangar. From the hangar. Had some Mexican food from a place that began with a Q like a year ago, and it was pretty good. Wish I could go there again. They had some nice green sauce they put on the nachos. Seems like high-end American Mexican food is becoming pretty popular. Like, Chipotle, Moe's. I have a Moe's by me, but not a Chipotle. And I'm quite fond of it. Yep. So fond I haven't eaten there in months. Or even years, yeah. But, it was one of my favorite places to go to when I went to college. And, yeah, it's strange. I thought I would be eating there every week when they opened up. But, I guess I prefer the cheap Taco Bell food next door. It's kind of weird how places open up, or the same places open up closer. Not that Moe's and Taco Bell, same place, you get very different eating experience going to one place over the other. It's like night and day. But sometimes I wonder if it's actually just in my mind, because Moe's food's more expensive. Maybe the ingredients pretty much exactly the same. I kind of like cheap Mexican food sometimes too, like cheap grade Z beef. That's the proper way to have tacos. Not this 90% lean California stuff. Cheap meat, not like those fancy Cartina tacos you see at some places cropping up now where they put like green leafies and feta cheese kind of stuff on it, and cheese that begins with Q, not queso. Something else. It's like Mexican Parmesan cheese, it almost tastes like, or feta cheese. Maybe it is just like Mexican feta cheese, I'm not sure. It's hard to believe there's not an overlap when it comes to cheese because, there's like 10,000 different cheeses in the world. You telling me they all taste unique? Reinforcements coming from the yard from the hangar. Cocky bastards. Ashmaker thought. They still think they can take the yard. Even with the casualties they've suffered. They must have been halved by now. And they had only 200 guards. Guards in total from the start. And according to the mole, they only had 200 guards from the start. Wish I could come up with a name for guards, something unique, like spearmen, shieldmen, parapet men. I don't know. Parapet men. It should be a word that's about the same length as guard. Nah, the hell with it. Guard will suffice. I can't change every word into something weird. Signing off, folks. Have a nice day.